It's your boy Smurf here with Money Match Gaming, and today I'm joined with my host. That's quite the long name, BRC 20 Maxi Satoshi.
We back.
We're back for another episode of Trustless Degens. Trustless Degens episode 29, actually, if we got those numbers correct. This is the show where we talk about all sorts of things involving crypto, macro talk. We try to, increase our financial education, but also really dive into the technology that is blockchain and everything that's spinning off of it. Because that's how a lot of us got here. So that's pretty much what we do here. We like to say it's Web3 or crypto / insert buzzword here. So some cool topics that we'll be covering today. We got the U.S. versus crypto is kind of like how I saw it. But Bitcoin, Coinbase, Ethereum as a whole, Pepe, BitBoy, BRC 20s. There's a lot to cover.
I feel like it's been a year since we did our last podcast.
It's been a little bit.
From all the stuff that's been going on.
It's been a little bit. Regardless of it all, I still have a certain feeling in my heart, and I think Satoshi does too. And so we're going to keep this running just a little bit. And now we're jumping into the actual episode now Trustless Degens.
We got to remind everyone that the Bulls are here.
The Bulls are back, baby. Back-to-back champions. Can't forget that. You see those in the Raptors. Back-to-back champions. Don't fade. This is the don't fade territory. This is probably a don't fade show, honestly. I feel like we talk about a bunch of things where if you're actually interested in crypto, learning about things from people that are participating in it, this is the place to be. Anyways, got a host of fun articles up for us today, but before we jump into that, gotta check the temperature in the room. So Satoshi, you hit me with it. Like, how you feeling lately about the markets? The market.
I feel like the markets are scared of the uncertainty that's going on. So I feel the same way, kind of, and I don't know. I'm not saying that you shouldn't look to, I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm reshuffling anything, but it's just you might think about selling a little bit and then coming back, when prices are lower because of all the bullshit that's going on with the US and stuff. So I don't know. I'm not saying that's what I'm doing, but
just giving you those
feelings. That's what a lot of people are doing. Well, that's what a lot of people say they're doing anyway.
Yeah. I find I'll just tag team on that. Then it was similar boat, feeling wise. So it's it feels like there's some uncertainty in the market. That's definitely feels like. But we, at the time that the market was rising, we pretty much called it. It was it's going to touch somewhere into the 30,000s. It's definitely going to hit that range. We get some type of blow off top, and we come down into this range. So we still haven't. I don't know. Have we actually hit 26,000 to 20, in that 24,000 range? I think that's all possible.
Yeah, we definitely hit 26. Not 26.0, but the 26 range. Now, with some closures in that area, I feel like we kind of hang around there for a little bit until, actually Bitcoin Miami is this weekend. So, what is it this weekend?
I don't know. Bitcoin Miami. I've been away. I have not been able to research as much as I would like.
Let me go ahead and look for you. Hang on, don't even stress.
The pains of touching grass.
I'm pretty sure that it is. I wish that I could go to Bitcoin Miami. I will. It's gonna be one of my goals one day. Yeah, it's the 18th, so it starts on the 18th. So it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying we'll see like the price go up, but we will see some good news, like some bullish news. We'll hear. I remember last year when
that already looks good right here. This
when
looks kind of sexy.
Jack Mallers was there and he was talking about I think it was a strike app, and I think that stuff is bullish. I like Jack Mallers and a lot of the Bitcoin people coming together, and but then man, I don't know, it gets like the Bitcoin price gets wonky after Bitcoin Miami always. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, just looking at it in terms of like what I feel like you would typically see in a pattern. Could not be. Could totally be something else, right? Could totally be like a, I don't know, like it could look like this. It could end up looking like this in the end, but I don't think so. It looks kind of sexy to me. I'm like, ooh, that looks like a bottom, what they would call a double bottom situation, set up for kind of like a little W looking pattern. We get a little pullback here. We get a little pullback, and you get a little swing shot, up into somewhere around here, which is, I mean, that's not that far, is it? Like we're in the it's at 27. It's not even that far. It's not even that far. Looking at the 30-day range, it's not too far. I don't know. That's a little bullish action. That's what it looks like to me. Either that, or we going to continue to hit those possible lows. All dependent on
hit those clearance sales.
Yeah. All dependent on like what happens. But I feel like there's only so much time before happening speak comes into play, whatever else. But before I talk too much more into that, we do have some other things that we can cover that will play into this. Actually, let me see if I have those up as articles. Otherwise, I might just mention it. Let me see. Season ledger, BTC plunges, rumors. Yes. Here it is. So this is about the plunging, and I wanted to bring this up as a thing that to kind of cover in terms of like, what moves the market. And most recently, my real reason for pointing this out, most recently, it's just like rumors of like anything will like really move the market. So that's kind of what I really wanted to point out within this. So a Twitter user, Beetle, shared a rumor the U.S. government Bitcoin wallets are on the move, and that was the recent like instant plunge down that we did, because there was like nothing other than like, it's been pretty bullish and this and that. The Fed's like kind of wrapping up on, there's not really a whole lot of like negative like news other than like, I don't know, stuff like that. And correct me if I'm wrong, Satoshi. I don't know, what other negative news are you thinking about like crypto space? I mean, there's like regulation looming, but like I don't even take that like so negatively.
There's a lot of regulation news, but nothing concrete. Like the SEC had to respond to Coinbase, and they basically were like, "Nah, we're not gonna do this yet. Like, we're not gonna make a regulation yet. We're gonna take our time to make the regulation." So just more of the same. And then just these fucking people that keep fucking talking about the government moving their Bitcoin. I'm like, if you're worried about like, how worried can you be about the government moving their Bitcoin? I just feel like, it's just one of those. It's a fucking psyop, bro. It's just like, if you are in Bitcoin for the right reasons, the government selling their Bitcoin is you're probably happy about that. I mean, you're probably like, I don't give a shit.
To a degree.
And the fact that the price keeps dumping around these fake movements is amazing to me, because you can look and see when it moves. You don't need to, you don't need to rely on people to tell you, because the wallets are right there and you check them, and then people just sell all their shit. And I don't know what they do after that point, but I feel like it's not real people selling. I feel like it's like, I don't know, maybe like, I don't know.
I feel like it's definitely real people selling. This is my take on it, and I'll connect it with something like later on that we'll cover later on, which is around Mr. Richard Hart, his segment for later. But this is just that, and it's in relation to Pulse Chain, like how many active users we see on certain chains in general, and I just feel like the reaction that we kind of got in terms of the price movement of Bitcoin is similar to, I don't know, like how many it's influenced by the active users or the active participants in the market at the time. Which I mean, like, if I don't know, I feel like that sounds like super simple, but like if a lot of those people are like actually hanging out on crypto Twitter or whatever, have you, they're more likely to be influenced by whoever the hell that has some sound thesis or some idea around whatever they're already worried about. If you're already worried about the price, and then that place that you go to for news, this is a better way of articulating that. If you're worried about something and that place that you go to for news is talking, you get like a nice rumor that goes around, something negative about it, then it might affect you. And if it comes from enough sources that you believe in, which tends to happen on crypto Twitter because it's easy to, like, oh, that person got a lot of reach on that. Let me cover that topic as well. Boom. Then all of a sudden people are pumping this like story and it's like, yeah, has it even actually been checked yet? And that's just social media in general. But everybody's like hanging out on crypto Twitter for the situation. And so when this guy does that, you get a lot of people that are like actually active in the market. I don't know, to make those movements. Cause I don't think we really have like a lot of like, I don't know, larger retail audiences in it at the time. And there's only so many like institutions that are like, I feel like are like, I don't know, feel comfortable at this time. It seems like they're like, still on the edge. So it's like, there are more in, but I don't think it's like a big, I don't feel like institutions move off of that like too quickly. Like that's like a thing that they're like, yeah, I'm checking that. And I don't know.
I have never. Now, when it comes to like shit coins or something, yeah. If I hear something on Twitter or something that's like the shit coin is fucked, or like this person's selling their crap coins, then I, as a trader, know that this coin could go to absolute zero, and I need to act on that. Yeah. But if it's Bitcoin and someone did something with Bitcoin, or in this case, when the government already told us months ago that they were going to be selling Bitcoin, and they sent their Bitcoin to Coinbase, and everyone's chilling, and then all of a sudden, just because someone tells us that the government actually did what they said they're going to do, now all of a sudden the price just gets absolutely floored, and I don't understand it. So
like you said, it feels like psyops, bullshit. And then like in relation to like, I don't know, you get like that certain amount of FUD before like I feel like it like really starts to take off. Otherwise, people aren't really talking about it much. It's just trending downward. It's doing the job for you. Currently, it's the opposite, where it's like actually it's kind of trending up, and certain things keep causing it to come back down. But then it still trends up pretty powerfully, and something else needs to that's the thing right now. That's something to factor in there. Something needs to knock it down consistently.
Yeah.
If something doesn't knock it down, it doesn't seem to be going down. Like every time it needs something to knock it down. And all we're arguing is like how strong is that something? How hard will it knock it down? For how long? Because most things just seem to like knock at it, and it's like, okay, well that happened. Back on the journey.
Like this whole year has been like there's been a lot of FUD. Just like recently in the last 2 weeks, there hasn't really been anything new that I've noticed, but it's just like there's been constant FUD this whole year. Bitcoin has been going up only, basically. So it's just like, what the fuck, people? Like, are we really tripping about the government selling their Bitcoin that bad, or are people trying to manipulate us?
Yeah, for real. But yeah, wanted to point out this little bottom section, wrapping this article up here. Twitter is currently anxious about Bitcoin's movement, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, over here, the authorities already offloaded close to 10,000 cryptocurrencies and revealed they are undertaking 4 more sales in 2023. So this is the authorities being the government. Where was it? Adding to the tension, Mt. Gox affiliated wallets holding more than 100,000 Bitcoin also came to life in April 24th. So these are just things that are kind of like catalysts for like why the price might be really frothy. Additionally, a report on Monday the 10th revealed that Jane Street and Jump Trading, so market makers, were winding down their involvement in the cryptocurrency markets. That could be like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars or something. I don't know, like a lot of money that's pulling out. I don't know how much money is in these market makers, but that's yeah.
I feel like that story was big, and I forgot that story happened probably in the last couple of weeks. That Jump and Jane Street said that they're going to be winding down in the U.S. They didn't say that they're not market making anymore at all, just in the U.S. So, I mean, I don't get what they mean by market making in the U.S. Like the cryptocurrency market is goes global. Now, maybe they mean specifically for like exchanges or something, like U.S. exchanges. Maybe they're not, providing market making services for them. So that would make sense to me because the United States exchanges are, getting pushed out and starting to, look to other places. So they're probably like, yeah, we need to do the same thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think is probably happening, honestly. And so there's two different ways to read that, right? Then, one way is just that like they're winding down, and that's just that, or the other could be it's winding. They need some type of other thing. Maybe they're affiliated too much with the United States or whatever. They can't do it here, so they have to move abroad. That's what companies end up doing. So maybe that's happening. But who's to say? The one thing that I wanted to point out with this also is that I forget where it's at in here, and I'm not going to look for it. But the United States said, or the government said that they were going to do so, sell these assets off in a way that didn't affect the general market. And when we looked at, you look at large players and how they like enter a position in the market, when they're doing so appropriately, it really doesn't move the market.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, when big players are like entering the market appropriately, they're not trying to like move the needle by themselves. Like, I just moved the entire, like they want to get a position in it. Yeah. So typically it's in a way that people wouldn't even notice. And so when people get all freaked out about this stuff because of the wallet movement or something, I'm like, why would they just dump all of it at once? That doesn't make, they want to cause chaos. Really? Because that's what that would do. It's like it actually happened, and it's like, but that was. That's gonna hurt some of their friends too. It's, I don't know. I don't think they want to cause any level of chaos for people. So you have people that are smart enough. It's funny that this article did wrap up talking about market makers, people that do this type of trading and stuff. You have people that are smart enough to like move money and not really move the market too much. I think you would probably do that. Not really the thing to worry about. But moving on. Oh, go ahead.
Hang on just a second. Personally, I don't believe them when they say that they're not going to sell it and for it to move the market. I think that market they wouldn't disclose that they were going to sell the Bitcoin 3 times. Also, people, this is going to happen. That one day we're going to wake up and we're going to get that notification that this actually happened, and I would prefer if the market would price it in now as opposed to panic dumping. But it's just like the market's gonna do what the market's gonna do, I guess. But I don't know. I think it's all psyop.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you just added was like is happening. I think the market is kind of pricing it in now because personally, I feel like we're gonna get that notification and it's gonna be that it already happened. Like the same way that like people are like, oh, Michael Saylor is into Bitcoin. It's like it already happened though. It already happened. You're finding out now because when big players enter the market, they don't do so in that type of. That's not how it works. That's not how the normal financial world. They're going to do it on some normal financial world stuff, and that's just not how it works. So I don't know. But that's what I'm thinking. All right, moving into our fun hour. We got this little fun thing. That was a nice little intro for our host sentiment on the market and stuff. I had to throw in some of our other articles there that I felt like tied into how we were kind of feeling there. But this is a fun piece. It's not a hit piece. Hey, please don't sue me.
What are we doing?
Ben Armstrong dumps own token. Is a massive crash incoming for Ben? That's the question.
I am so exhausted about this fucking Ben token.
Sell-off of Ben tokens is more or less classified as a rug pull event, which is very common in digital currency ecosystem. Events like this token expected to see a catastrophic sell-off build to push it down to a mile. But that's just some speculating. Right now, the price hasn't really done anything like that.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think the whole story is amazing. Like, I seen a tweet thread where someone was saying that the fucking Ben guy is like the best trader ever. He made one of the best returns. Like, I don't get it. Like, he just like he made the Ben token, and then BitBoy was like, I'm Ben, so this is my token or something. I don't know. So they decided that it'd be fun to have Ben token, and then Ben said, well, I'm going to make another token, I guess, and you guys should send me money for it. And then people proceeded to send this man, who they don't know, who is not making a useful token, like $5 million. And I don't even think he sent them the tokens yet, but I don't know. I think it's hilarious. It's hilarious, and I get it. You know, I might have sent him a couple $100 at, you know, maybe if I thought it was, if my name was Ben or something, you know. But think about all the people whose name is not Ben that sent this dude like thousands of dollars for a token called PSYOP.
This is
I don't know.
special.
I
don't know.
I don't know. I don't have much more words to say about it besides I hope it works out for everybody.
Look, it seriously, it takes a lot to get me into a meme coin. You know, it needs to be something like the Pepe one is like one that would like interest me on in terms of like its virality factor. It needs to have like, I'm probably not going to catch it like the most early. I might hear about it, but I still probably wouldn't buy it the most early just because like it needs to have these factors and stuff like that going before I would care about it. And I need to know about the tokenomics and everything else like that. And then it needs, you know, demand. Like, yeah, the virality and demand. If it doesn't have that demand as a meme token, it doesn't really matter. So you can still jump into meme tokens that are like worth it and actually have that level of demand and community. It's all sorts of times and make crazy profit, and especially if they build out into the actual ecosystem and offer opportunities and continue. You know, you got opportunities with them. So not too worried about that type of stuff. But yeah, something like Ben always kind of had me shaky. First Ben. First, you had the Uniswap situation on your stream. You don't know how to use Uniswap, and then you had this community rug situation. I knew there was like two like different owners of Ben, but he was still calling it. I was like, okay, whatever. But then you sold all your You did the Charlie Lee. You hit them with the Charlie Lee. All these people don't know how to meme coin like you. Anyways, Bitcoin, and for anybody or BitBoy, and for anybody who doesn't know about the Uniswap situation, I put this lovely video on up for us, which is from Song a Day Man. And this is specific to BitBoy, who's currently trending on crypto Twitter.
BitBoy, he doesn't know how to use Uniswap. Doesn't know that you approve tokens first before you use them, before you do anything at all. He's got over 1 million subs on YouTube, and they look to him as an expert in the field of cryptocurrency. But he doesn't know anything at all. Can only bring chaos and emptiness to the conversation. He's got over 1 million subs on YouTube, and they look to him as an expert in the field of cryptocurrency. He doesn't know anything at all. To ask yourself what else he's not familiar with. It's pretty fucked up, 'cause he doesn't know anything at all. He doesn't know anything at all. He's still lost. He doesn't know anything at all. He doesn't know.
Man, Song a Day Man, killing it though. BitBoy doesn't know anything at all, apparently.
So do you seriously think that BitBoy doesn't know how to use Uniswap?
I think that he had not been around the block in a while. And things like the new Max system and stuff like that they had come out around the time of the Arbitrum airdrop. He was like, whoa,
Okay.
I haven't actually touched my wallet in like 2 months. And
I appreciate
it's funny.
that. I was just like, there's no way BitBoy's not selling some shit on Uniswap.
Yeah.
It
No,
makes
I think
sense.
he knows how to use
When
it.
you come back, it's things are when you don't do like blockchain activities, when you come back, it's like fuck, like what's this?
Things that was the last thing I was gonna say is like things change really quickly in blockchain, and so that's like more so I feel like the community was reacting to. It's just like the fact that like you have millions of followers, you're supposed to be this expert, and you kind of dinosauring out if you're not keeping up. Like you can't I don't know, or just be like, or have more so that like I'm a little bit more I'm not as hands on right now or something. I don't know, but that's kind of what became more transparent.
Funny story. So the token that BitBoy was trying to buy on Uniswap is called NGMI, and so I got a call about NGMI like maybe like a day before, or maybe like a couple hours before BitBoy bought, and it was just weird. Like I got in, he bought, price went up like probably 2 or 3x or something, and then a couple days later he just dumped it all. And people were like, BitBoy, he made this like cryptic video about this token that he was gonna be letting his investors in on, and all my guys are like, oh, he's shilling, he's gonna show NGMI. I'm like, nah, he's talking about that fucking BEN token. And yeah, it was BEN, but yeah, he was trying to buy NGMI, and he ended up buying it, but
that's just funny.
It's just like, dude, BitBoy strikes again.
NGMI and BEN.
BitBoy strikes
the fact
again.
that those can be spoken in the same sentence.
BitBoy used to rug me all the time, like before the last bull market, and I swore off of BitBoy, but I couldn't get away from him. Get away from him, man. He got me again. He got me again.
Can't mess with BitBoy plays.
No,
you gotta DYOR, or I don't know. That's just not the narrative to follow.
By the time you hear it from BitBoy, it's over.
True.
You are exit liquidity at that point.
Yeah, that's one thing to learn. It's like, if it's at BitBoy, like that's like by the time it makes it to Coinbase, and like when you're actually into cryptocurrency, it's like by the time something starts hitting actual exchanges, when we have like, this is like now the private sale is just on chain. Like even if it's not, there's like sometimes there's an actual private sale, and then people on chain get it first because you're on chain, and then eventually it goes out to the public that's like using like whatever exchange and stuff like that. And that's what I meant by like there's like the private sales like always on chain. Like everybody always gets it earlier than you, so like you need to go out there and like And BitBoy is one of these people that like again he's taking like 2 months off sometimes a month. I don't know how long it's been since the Arbitrum airdrop, but that's like at least like a month or so. I'm like it hasn't done like transactions like since then, because you would know what that was. You would not be confused. It happens all the time now. It's like an everyday thing. So yeah, interesting. I wanted to keep it moving. Started popping up some of got some articles, some hot articles. Hot. First one I want to put on screen is let's breeze on by this one, but breaking: Elon Musk joins Pepe coin frenzy. So yeah, just Elon tweeting about Pepe. What was his name? Was the art Beeple making some Pepe art? Everybody talking about Pepe. Again, I think it's a decent for a meme coin. Whatever. If you like Dogecoin, I don't know what's wrong with Pepe. Like it's a coin that's not being mined, so there's that. You got that portion to it. You don't have to worry about the whole like people that are like, oh, I like meme coins, but I don't want to hurt the environment. Well, guess what? It's all pre-mined. It's just you just buy it, I guess. So. Interesting situation there. It's totally community coin. Why not? For fun stuff. You can even make games on top of that. Like it just doesn't matter at that point. It's just totally a community coin. So fun. Pointed out. Here's part of the thing. So I have this article up here for Coinbase, but in general, I think Coinbase has just been like on the move lately because I feel like they had like regulation stuff being talked about. They had leaving like Canada happening, and now this Coinbase launches layer swap for ZK Sync era. Oh, you reading that? You interested in that, huh?
But I'm writing them notes down on that one, yeah, for sure.
I was like, wait, why would you? Doesn't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter.
Just pay attention. Just fucking pay attention.
That's it. Don't matter. Oh my god, you follow the money. So with new layer swap solution, users of Coinbase and other leading crypto exchanges will now be able to transfer funds to ZK Sync era. It was just like, I guess, like you guys they don't make it possible to do this with all the chains and stuff though. So
Coinbase getting real degen out here now.
Yeah, like they were like, "Yo, we got something with ZK Sync era, like this new chain." Like what? So that's interesting, man. I don't know if they're trying to like set their users up with like this airdrop or something. Honestly, that might be something. Like you get like some type of token that's like on ZK Sync era, and then you get it on Coinbase, and then they give you access to the airdrop, and that would be like having you need like some type of a bridge between the two. I don't know. That's what I'm starting to get my tinfoil hat on. But this is in general. This is interesting news, and that's why I wanted to put this up here, because this is just, whatever you want to make out. It's very interesting.
I would figure out how to do that however you need to. I'm not personally on Coinbase, but if I were on Coinbase, I would try to do whatever that is.
And I mean, the future airdrop of ZK Sync era. Yeah, so they mentioned that in this article. I just saw it again. I was like, this is just interesting. It has the fact that Coinbase would care to do that versus all these other chains. They're not like, oh, you can bridge it to Arbitrum. You can bridge it, like at least not that I've seen, or Optimism or something like that. But they're like, yeah, ZK Sync era though. Like what? You can't just bridge to Binance Smart Chain. ZK Sync era though. What? Interesting. Recently, there's been analysis of everything, airdrop. So yeah, again, they mentioned this airdrop at the end, and I think that's a big part of it. Where it's like if Coinbase can do that, they might be able to make some money off of it. So it's a big opportunity for Coinbase to make money as the middleman.
I bet Coinbase will get some residuals off everyone farming that airdrop.
So yeah, if they know it's official, they might be like, let's take advantage. Yeah, we seen what happened with Arbitrum. Why not take advantage? Why not be here first? Why not? I mean, it's pretty big news, in my opinion, my humble opinion. But we just Trustless Degens, and nothing that we speak about here is financial advice or anything like that. We don't do that. Yeah. So another news-worthy sentence: USDC issuer circle moves $8.7 billion to a repo agreements to reserve some U.S. government default. So this is just them like being, just in case someone was having more of the debt ceiling. Just gotta
move to what is that? What does that mean? Issues.
I mean, I think it's just like my takeaway is just like it's some type of account that is protected from. So I don't know, it could be offshores or whatever, but some type of account that's protected from the United States going, and not having enough funds, defaulting and whatever comes from that. But several managed global investment management, overnight repo transactions are effectively short-term collateralization loans. The borrower is selling a security, in this case, U.S. Treasuries, for cash, and agrees to buy back the collateral the next day for a slightly higher price. What's really happening, though, is that big institutional investors with cash to spare are parking that with Wall Street dealers that need funding. While this has been underway for many months, inclusion of the highly liquid assets provides additional protection to the USDC reserves in the likely event of a U.S. debt default.
That's interesting. Good to hedge.
Yeah, some big money plays doing big money things. So speaking of stable coins, I figure this is an appropriate one to put here. And this is like some DeFi insider knowledge, not even insider now, but like if you in the DeFi, then this has been coming. But if you haven't really been into DeFi, you just hanging out Web3, maybe you missed this. Curve's new USD stablecoin is almost ready for users. Boom. So it's kind of like already launched, but they, Curve is they're like serious. If you don't know blockchain applications and like the rank of like what the best applications are in DeFi, Curve is at the top of the list. They're like top 3 or 4 or something. We're going to go to DeFi Llama in a little bit, and you'll be able to see all these different blockchain applications in terms of like who makes the most money, who's the biggest in DeFi and stuff. But Curve is at the top of the list. They're like the main exchange for stablecoins, and they're coming out with their own DeFi stablecoin, CRV USD. And I believe it's like a yield-bearing stablecoin too. But a little less than 2 weeks after Curve deployed USD stablecoin smart contracts on Ethereum, its CRV user Interact is now ready. They're taking it slow. They like to really audit the crap out of things. This is as big as it gets in DeFi. Have you been hearing anything about CRV USD?
I heard it from. I heard someone mention it. Another YouTuber or something mention it, but I haven't got my hands on any yet. I haven't heard about any getting any. I don't know how to get any. I don't know if it's. I don't know how I would use it, but I
Yeah, I
think
mean
that
it's just a
it's
stable coin.
interesting.
Yeah, just a stable coin, and my understanding of it is supposed to like rebalance for you in certain situations, or the coin like rebalances in a way that it's how it maintains collateralization. We've actually covered it here on Trustless Degens before, like in one of our previous episodes. The one thing with CRV-USD is I remember it just being like, it's not a non-complicated beast. It's like, no, this is how things work in DeFi. This is how borrowing and lending works. This is how you could like interact within a trade, and it's basically doing like some automated trading type of like.
So what you're telling me is it's basically algorithmic.
I mean, not quite. Because it's like I feel like algorithmic stable coins themselves, like what are considered algorithmic stable coins, are coins that use an algorithm to actually like maintain like the price of it. And they mint more of it or whatever without actually having some more value coming to the ecosystem. But with CRV USD, it's going to be backed by a basket of assets, so it's being backed by other stable coins. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is like an over collateralized, like DAI. I mean, like probably everything in 3CRV.
Yeah.
I think like Frax ETH or something like that is like a large portion of it to start. But the community of Curve will continue to decide that, and that's some of the biggest minds in DeFi as well that participate. Like the people with the most liquidity in DeFi use things like Curve, and so a lot of the biggest money in crypto is making these decisions for this stable coin. So this is like a big money stable coin that's coming out. Is like the takeaway there. Like big money is making this, and this is what they're looking at for a DeFi stablecoin. So lots to learn about there. I'll refresh myself on CRV-USD and do a review of it next week for us.
Sure.
I need to refresh myself in general.
Sounds like you know a lot more than I do about it.
See. I try to read about it, man, but it's so much.
There is so much to keep up with. God damn it.
It's like I know this, but am I confusing? Because I feel like I'm mixing it with this one application that's going to be using it right now. So I don't want to misspeak too much. I'd rather just refresh myself and then come back to you guys. Ethereum briefly stopped finalizing transactions. What happened, Satoshi? Remember you shouting this one out in the chat? Ethereum is Solana or whatever you said.
So basically Ethereum is Solana now. Like Ethereum stopped doing its thing. Not really. It just like I don't know. It was such a non-story that I didn't even really like look into exactly how it happened. I read like a few threads and it's over the amount of frequency my brain could really comprehend. So I just said, okay, is the price like getting destroyed right now? No, okay, not a big deal. So the beacon chain stopped it stopped final. I don't know if I call it finalizing transactions. That's not like exactly what happened, right? It just like the transactions were like hanging. They weren't going through quite yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like a confirmation of like a certain portion of the confirmation or something like that. Yeah, it says finalizing them. So like I think it's like part of like the confirmation of it.
Like the block wasn't finalizing yet, but the transactions were still going through. So I don't know what that means for Ethereum. There, you need to figure that out. Like it didn't stop transactions from going through, so I can't say that
Yeah, and from the threads that I read. Yeah, from the threads that I read, it seemed like they had already they're like, oh, this is like the fix for this and that. This has happened before. Also, like this is like not something like it's like the first time. They're like, but this is, this is like it happened and it's larger and this and that. And so we really need to implement this fix. So we're gonna start implementing that.
Some of the nodes were being weird, and the thing about those nodes, and the thing that makes it to where Ethereum is not like Solana, is because there are several people who have nodes. With Solana, it was just like. I think there are less than I want to say less than 50 like nodes, like node operators for Solana. They're all centralized. So it's just like, if one or two of those goes down, then everything's fucked. But with Ethereum, there's a lot more nodes out there. So, and all those nodes can decide to upgrade if they want or take whatever patch comes out and kind of fix the solution. But with something like Solana, it takes, I'd imagine that it takes longer to get your centralized nodes, together for an upgrade or something like that.
I don't know. I feel like the centralized nodes, like a smaller batch, should be able to move quicker, but that's like it's got to be like the sell off, right? But
what if one of your nodes is like, or they're like, I don't know if I want to do this right now, and they're like, who knows?
Slash them. We run a
But
new node now. Slash them.
as far as Ethereum, there's a whole lot of nodes. So if and I don't know, this is all speculation for me. There's a whole lot of nodes, and they're all decentralized. So instead of having to rely on that one guy, that one node not wanting to do shit, there's other nodes that are like, we're already doing it, so the transactions get picked up by those nodes. Gotcha. And the blockchain isn't halted or stopped, and shit works because it's decentralized.
Yeah.
So it works in my brain anyway.
I see your point. But yeah, I want to move on to this next one. Not sure if you heard about this recently. So this whole article is about seizing the opportunity from Ledger stumble. Hardware wallet competitors offer discounts. Did you see the news about Ledger recently? Then
you about to get me going on this one. Like I have a whole tweet. I have a whole tweet on this specific situation. Oh my gosh. I think that it's hilarious. The whole thing's hilarious. Like Ledger tried to do something good, and it blew up in their face. But I'll let you keep going.
Yeah, no. I mean, because I really just popped this up so we could talk about this one, just because I figured I was like, I was just gonna kind of run down like what happened. And again, this whole article, as kind of mentioned, is just about taking advantage of it. I don't think they really cover much about what happened with Ledger Tuesday, introduction to Ledger recovery. Here it is. The main source of ire for cryptocurrency community towards Ledger was due to Tuesday introduction of Ledger Recover, an opt-in ID-based private key recovery service that allows users to back up their seed phrases to the personal identity via 3 different custodians.
Keyword, opt-in. Optional. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Anyway.
But yeah, people were like worried like the code, like I don't know, and so like I was hearing suggestions that like you just shouldn't upgrade to like the new version of like Ledger and stuff. Like if you don't even want it to like have that whatever portion of the code will it's like accept that option, just don't upgrade to this one version of it. It's like
I feel like there are cheaper. First of all, seizing upon Ledger stumble, hardware wallet competitors offer discounts. There are some cheap hardware wallet solutions out there already without discounts. So I feel like these other hardware wallets use this opportunity to sell their hardware wallets. Yes, they all have their ticks and their pros and cons. I like hardware wallets. I think they're fun to play around with. I think that it's great that you don't see hardware wallets getting exploited or hacked. I think that hardware wallets are there's a learning curve for hardware wallets, just like how there's a learning curve for non-custodial wallets. What Ledger did was they said, okay, you people save their seed phrases and then they fucking lose them. You you write your password down and then you lose it, or something happens to your house, gets burned down or something, you lose your seed phrase. There's horror stories of people who have their seed phrases on their hardware or on their computers. The memes of the guys out there searching through the city dump looking for their hard drive, looking for their old Bitcoin keys and shit. So Ledger tried to make a recovery to where if you lose your password, then there's a way for people or something, or there's a way for other people to go to these third-party sites and basically KYC that it's you and to recover your password, to recover your seed phrase. And it's something that the way I think about it is like when you have your exchange password, dude, sometimes I fucking forget my exchange passwords, or and you have to do your forget my password. They send you your exchange password and you go along from there. I think that a lot of these people who were freaking out on Twitter about this have never fucking used a fucking hardware wallet. It was a lot of NFT people who I seen like flipping out about it.
I don't know, but I've also seen some pretty big Discord servers that are like deep in DeFi and that like manage like a lot of money that are like, we don't really like this, and like where we can't suggest Ledger moving forward as like a thing to use for like hedge fund like level like money, because they're like, the concern is that at some level it opens up Pandora's box to a vulnerability that would allow for the access of somebody's seed phrase. We're currently you're just not getting it, and this does like regardless, like in like like as you were mentioning, it's split up, and so the seed phrase is sent to like 3 different custodial wallets, so 3 different entities, and so portions of it, so it's split up into 3 portions. That should make it safer. However, again, hackers find ways, and so all they got to do is like intercept at whatever point.
Yes, exactly.
And so that's what people are worried about. People are like, okay, so it's like it's a cool idea, but at the same time, we just want it like, I was like, what I signed up for was paper wallet, yada yada yada. And as you were saying, it's opt-in only, and so yeah, people are probably overreacting. But what's they just want to make sure, like, well, I want to also make sure that there's no possibility that the fact that when you update the software or whatever for this next version, there's no backdoor or something like that lets people into that type of thing and lets them into everything. And so it's like it just opens up this whole Pandora's box, and like it didn't need to be opened. And so
I feel like there are enough other hardware wallet solutions out there. And I feel like, people should not just have one hardware wallet. You should have multiple hardware wallets. You shouldn't, leave all your gains back into just one specific wallet. I feel like you should try different hardware wallets that are out there. I feel like there's going to be a market for this type of thing because and I feel like they're gonna kind of have to innovate on it, update it a little bit, and kind of mess with it. But eventually, I feel like think about people who want to like leave money, to someone. Like this would be a way for if something happens and you pass away, well, someone could possibly figure out a way to get that money from you, or you can leave instructions for them. Like, so I feel like, like this is
access to those different accounts, but then,
I feel like this is like the first iteration of this. And I mean, I agree. It's extremely risky. This is not the first time Ledger has done some weird stuff. Ledger's, the information about like all their customers got leaked a few years back. And it was their phone numbers, their emails. I don't know if you remember when people were sitting around threading emails to people who had ledgers, talking about we're going to come to your house and shit. That exploitation caused my phone to get SIM swapped. I got fucking SIM swapped twice after that. So I mean, look, I have used Ledger before. I have a couple Ledger wallets. I don't use them anymore specifically because of that. So I mean, like I have my own gripes with Ledger, but I feel like this is something that they're trying to do to help people to give people another option on how to secure their wallets. Some people might not want their fucking crypto in a super secure hardware wallet, that they can't recover, which is why some people only use like Binance or only use Coinbase. They don't use non-custodial wallets. So I think there's a market for it out there, but I understand why crypto people are pissed about it. And I mean, I definitely think that it's, I wouldn't have all my shit on a ledger. I'm already scared about it because of what happened to me in the past. So I mean, that's my experience with it.
Feel that. We'll put from a veteran in this space. Covering that topic on Ledger. So our last article is actually one in the gaming space, and I want to, after that, kind of want to roll us into a kind of checking out the market, a little bit of a market analysis, more some macro topics, and then we're gonna do like show and tell to wrap things up. It's gonna be show and tell hour. So before we do that, a little fun for you for the gaming space. This game, enter the Unioverse. That is quite the name, bro. Unioverse. What do it mean?
Maybe it's Unio.
Unio?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, not very appealing in either direction. It doesn't really roll off the tongue. Like, I don't know if that's the way I would like word that, but it's like a thing like, let's make this catch on. Whatever. The cinematic sci-fi game takes shape on Polygon. So this is to do with like a whole Web3 metaverse project that we've actually covered here on Trustless Degens before. So I wanted to revisit this now that we're that much farther. We're, a few months since we originally covered it, and they've got some new things to share about the project. So first, we got some new screenshots here. You can see the quality of the art, but of course, that's just a screenshot. And so, spoiler alert, we do have a video which we're going to show of this. But to introduce things, Rayu, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Rayu is how I pronounce it, is the first playable character NFT to emerge from Random Games' upcoming Unioverse franchise. So far, the team has released one Rayu comic book, 20,000 Rayu NFTs on Ethereum scaling network Polygon, 8 short fiction stories with visual illustrations, and The Proving Grounds, an immersive minigame of sorts in which players can race through dystopian game environment and destroy bots as they try to top the leaderboard. So that's what they're going to be showing off. And then this article also does a little bit of a slam dunk on Dookie Dash by ApeCoin. Like, yes, please do. Like, slam dunk on that. Really? Like, there's a link there, but I'm not going to click on it. Because like enough attention to low quality games. I understand it's for a certain type of whatever the heck and just fun, but too much of it. Anyways, this says take a look at the Unioverse, and I've actually captioned this video out for us to take a look at this. This game looks pretty awesome. Before we jump into it, in case I don't cover it down there, this game was created by one of the guys that made Grand Theft Auto. And I think right here, it's unsurprising that the Proving Grounds looks so good by Random Games, has a team of veteran game developers and writers. Random CEO Tony Harmon helped create Grand Theft Auto, while president, original developer DMA Design, and Random Games writer Brent Fredstein has worked on narrative development for games like League of Legends, Call of Duty, as well as TV series like Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and Star Trek. So they got a team of experienced veterans under Spice. And they made a good-looking game. Let's check it out.
Not going to want to miss out on this upcoming sci-fi video game called the Unioverse. Let's get into it. Now, the Unioverse has not released a full game yet, but they have released the Proving Grounds, where you can basically run through the game as a character if you own one of their Rayu NFTs that were released on Polygon. So you can see here there's a leaderboard showing the players that have made the most kills and have the best times for the Proving Grounds, who have really checked this game out. But what is the Unioverse? Well, it's a sci-fi franchise from the creators behind Grand Theft Auto, Donkey Kong Country, Crackdown, Star Wars, Call of Duty, and Star Citizen. So this is an alpha that we're looking at here, and it truly feels like a AAA game environment. So we're going to jump into it here in just a second. But the team has spent a ton of time into the lore of the game. There's already comics, there are future characters that they're planning to release in the coming months, and it overall feels very well thought out and developed. The lore is very substantial on their website. Now, Rayu, which is the first character that they've released and that we'll be playing here in this demo, is a legendary warrior of the Jadin, one of the Origin 5 species that ruled the hub in the first cycle. So that's according to the Unioverse's website, and with his memory comprised by millennia trapped in a transpod, Rayu searches the stars for his homeworld. Okay, so that's a lot to take in, but basically the Unioverse's lore begins when astronauts find an alien ship deep under Mars while it's being terraformed, and they discover that the ship can transport your consciousness into another body. And so Rayu is an alien species with unmatched strength and speed and augmented senses. Now, the developers basically call him a warrior monk of sorts. In this run through, he has a sword that's basically a beam of light. It's kind of like a laser sword. And then he also has a gun that's kind of like a crossbow gun. To me, the characters really remind me of Alien or Predator or some combination of the two. It feels very sci-fi horror. On the game's website, they have a whole list of heroes that they're going to release after Ryu. So there is a woman, Krishna, who's going to be coming out in May, and there's other characters planned for this year and next. So I was also told by the game development team that they're working on a multiplayer battle royale for this game. It definitely feels like AAA quality. It's got sort of Halo vibes about it, as well as Portal for me. This run through here sort of felt like a puzzle game, but like a high speed, high stakes version of that. I personally am really excited to see where the team takes this game and how they continue to expand the environments and the guns and the different experiences that you can have here. I think it has all the makings of a AAA game so far, so we'll see, where the team takes it from here. Drop a comment if you've checked out the Proving Grounds. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear all your thoughts.
All right, thanks, lady. Yeah, that's the Proving Ground. So yeah, drop a comment, Satoshi. I'd love to know what you think about the Proving Grounds. What'd you think of that game?
It looked pretty cool to me. I'd give it a try.
See, yeah, I'd use an Xbox controller on that thing. Not much of a mouse guy. But it looks great. I always figured it would take about 3 years or so before higher quality games like really started entering the market. We're starting to see that. Even today, I was on YouTube and I saw somebody was playing a Mirandus, a beta, like open, or I can't say open beta, but it was like test play something or whatever, and it looked a lot more finished than it's ever looked. And I believe it's open because there was like a lot of people like running around at the same time on the map. In like taking on targets, taking down the same targets, like beating bosses, and then I was like, oh, okay, crap, like this looks interesting actually. So that's happening. So yeah, taking about 3 years, we got like another year or so, and we should see like some real quality starting to take form in the gaming space. Give it another two or 3 years, and it's like that's what people are probably expecting. We got the first game.
I agree, man. And we're always hearing about all these other prestigious AAA developers who are working on Web3. So I think it's really just a ticking time. It's only a matter of time. And also, Google had they have like some type of AR, VR, some type of I think it's a product launch. Like some type of VR product, glasses or some shit that they're coming out with. I want to say end of this month, maybe next month. And a lot of the metaverse tokens are pumping. Axie's released a Google app, I think, or an Apple app, like a card game, like the other day. And AXS went up like 10 or 15% or something. So people are trying to bring back the gaming narrative in crypto, I think, and I would be super underexposed if that happened right now. So.
Yeah.
It's all your fault because I'm fucking buying DeFi shit.
I wonder how much AXS have wrecked. I just gotta check one of these days. It's probably not a lot, but I'm like, any amount would be cool. I'm like, okay, half an AXS, two AXS, I don't know, 3, whatever. We'll see. But yeah, DeFi is the way, man. I don't know. DeFi is the way. It keeps you in there. There's always something happening, and these games gonna end up using DeFi, and then you'll be set, and you'll know how to maximize them. That's how you bootstrap a game for the long term, folks. It's been figured out. But I want to move into this last section of things today. So we're going to do a little bit of a Trustless Degen market analysis, as I called it here. Checking out some this is the stats portion of the day, and then we'll do our little show and tell stats. Here comes some numbers. Yeah, so the United States dollar over the 1 day, a little bit of a dip. We're looking at this thing over the 5 day. It looked a little bullish. I'm saying, and then we look at over the month. It looked like it'd been a little bullish. You got higher highs, higher lows, maybe. So it's just been bullish. That's something to consider. And in terms of Bitcoin being inverse to the United States, the DXY, it looks pretty. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. It looks pretty accurate there. Not much to say there. Can't really contest that. I want to start working in some of these other. What would you call these indexes or markets to pay attention to? Like it says index. I'm going to use index. So some of these other indexes I'm like, it's like a basket of assets. I don't know. It's an index, right? So
Yeah.
we're looking at the S&P 500 over the last month. It's pretty stagnant. So you get a little bit more action in Bitcoin. I had this up over here. Let's see. So the last month for Bitcoin has been, you could say stagnant, almost stagnant, depending on when you got in there. But there's a lot more volatility. It's way more volatile. Like I don't think the S&P is volatile. Like it's been volatile, I guess, for the S&P too. I'm sure this is like feels plenty volatile stuff, but I don't know. It just doesn't look as volatile to me. And I'm sure some of that's just the way the point system works out. But there's that look at things across the board. Things are pretty even for most places. And then you have the QQQ sector, which I've been, I just hear so much about and not as what we call like neutral here, more of an upward curve for QQQ. So maybe that's something to pay attention to if you're a stock person or whatnot. Or as you plan to diversify into more, something to learn. I want to start capturing these sectors more on the stream. Looking at QQQ, S&P 500. If you have any suggestions about anything else we should look into, we can check those out.
You might look at some of the like the top, like the FANG stocks maybe. I know that they've been doing their earnings reports, I think, this last month. So I think some of them are interesting, like Apple and Google, specifically Tesla too. I don't think Tesla is a FANG stock, but
so you like earnings reports more so?
Yeah,
we got that. All right. Yeah, that's a fun thing. I feel like I was thinking about that in the back of my mind, and like that, like I don't know. Sometimes things are foggy until somebody says something like that. It's like, that's exactly what it was. Yes, that's what we need. That's what we need. That stops Satoshi. Anyways, moving on with the number. Geekin. DeFi Llama. So DeFi Llama is a great data aggregator for DeFi specifically. This doesn't look very much changed here, honestly. It's always in this $40 to $60 million range, locked TVL. Don't see it really move outside of that too often, at least not these last few months, which makes you believe maybe this is a floor. Or right before you get another capitulation, which will it be? Which will it be? Oh man, we were talking about the top dApps before, and as you can see, Curve. I was right. I said 4. Curve sitting there at number 4 in all of DeFi in the top dApps. You got Lido taking over from MakerDAO previously. Aave borrowing and lending, it's the top borrowing and lending on like whatever, and then you got Uniswap. So that pink unicorn that been here since that airdrop. Also, Just Lend in the top there. Convex, it's like a yield aggregator for Curve. It plays on top of Curve. Coinbase, entering kind of like the Lido game. Pancake, InstaDApp. Cool. We really want to check out here. So I suggest you come to DeFi Llama and use it yourself and check out all these categories on the left side if you're really interested in that. Unless Satoshi has anything specifically he wanted to look at. I was going to go over here to chains, and this is what I find to be the most interesting right now is we were talking a lot about ZK Sync era earlier. So I like to keep up with how these chains are doing in terms of the volume coming into the chain. So the money moving into the chain. We were like, it doesn't matter. Coinbase is doing the ZK Sync era thing. You got to follow the money. That's how you play the game. And so we want to look at these ones. And ZK Sync era is not a top chain. It has not been. We've been following it since it was like top 20. It was like top 24. I was gonna say last time, and now it's top 21. So inched up 3 spots.
10% though. Go up. What is it in the last week? 7 days.
So in this, I believe this first one 1 day, 7 day, 1 month.
And so what is that tracking exactly?
So in the 1 month, it's down about 10%.
As far as the stable coins or what?
Oh, I think this is all TVL.
Okay,
TVL.
cool.
So we'd have to go in
So
there.
it's up 10%. Is there any other projects that are up nearly 10%? Because that's probably a pretty big gainer.
The 7 day though. Yeah.
7 day,
yeah. Let's see. Hold up. I'm gonna come back to this. I don't know to see this little thing here, and check out some of these dApps over here. But let's see.
And SyncSwap is
the biggest,
Oh yeah,
scariest.
sorry, my bad. Yeah, I thought we were back on.
We ignore these ones. We ignore the ones that aren't big boys. We ignore the ones that aren't big boys. So like, yes, there are some that have gotten over that. Oh, Polygon ZK EVM is actually getting insane inflows. Maybe that's something we don't want to ignore actually. I'm like, that's actually a big name. It's got insane inflows right there. It's 257% TVL increase on that one. So there's one. Starknet in the game, but they're similar to ZK Sync. Wax got a nice little inflow. That's interesting, but not a lot of money in general. Wonder what the change up was. They got people over on Wax, but yeah, I think the big takeaways here are Polygon, ZK Sync era, Starknet. You could say Wax too for the game because like, what does it go down to after that? Nah, see, like in comparison to money though, like or amount TVL, their TVL is nowhere comparable to these. They have 500,000 over here. These ones have like that's 110 million. It's like way more. Starknet also not comparable to ZK Sync era, right? It's more comparable to Polygon ZK EVM, which caught up to it then incredibly fast, like in 7 days. They caught up to you, like, yo, what's that about? Oh, man.
I seen a project on there that it was like one of my first like Uniswap gem shitcoin tokens that I bought. It's called Sora. It's called, the ticker is XOR, and it was down there at like number 17 or something like that. Bro, if I would have just held that token, I would have so much Ethereum right now.
Yeah, that's how it be. Be learning the ways. Also, I want to shout out Suli for the raid on stream. Thank you, Suli. Much appreciated. The guys who changed Web3 gaming community. And there, man, what's the name of the new event? It's a pretty dope event series. I've been following the NFT stuff that they're doing there. Suli's pretty cool guy. You should probably follow him. Anyways, let's look at this before we roll off with DeFi Llama. I want to look at the ZK Sync specifically and look at their Look what they got for the top dApps. Moving over there. It's going to be very brief. It's going to be very brief before we go into like a token terminal. Very briefly, into our show and tell. Do our show and tell. Satoshi, who I believe is going to educate us a little bit about BRC 20s. If I'm correct saying so.
There's so much fun.
Yeah. So we got Sync Swap at the top of the dexes over here. Let me see if there are any other fun names popping up that are like kind of like new to things. Doesn't look like a lot of like new in the top. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if I'm really actually familiar with Izzy Swap.
I'm not familiar with Izzy Swap.
But familiar with Fellow Core, Mute, SpaceFi. I feel like I've seen this one before. Nexon. I've seen the name Maverick Protocol before, though I'm not sure if I've seen it on ZK Sync before.
Does SpaceFi have anything to do with Space ID?
SpaceFi? Space ID? Yeah. I don't believe so. They have like I think they just have like some type of locking thing around how you do yield on their platform.
Okay.
That's what I wasn't liking about a lot of the early ones on ZK Sync, where it's just like, I'm like, just give me a normal DEX. Got all this locking crap, bro. I just want a normal DEX yields. But yeah, some other cool protocols here. If you're into stable coins overnight, looking pretty cool on the list. Yeah. Not too much crazy. Let's we can do this thing too. Who the big changers are? Derivatives on chain.
I was using Sync Swap a lot.
So this is like by derivatives. I imagine they probably mean says futures. Yeah, like leverage trading.
I was using Sync Swap to do some swaps on ZK because I heard that Zig Swap was going to do an airdrop. So
yeah, that's what I've been hearing. They're like the main one.
Sync Swap doing airdrops, and then there's a ZK airdrop. That's like a double airdrop, if you ask me.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Nexon did theirs yet, but Nexon didn't have a token as of a few weeks ago, and they said that they would be having a token, so that's another one. So yeah, that's 1, 2 airdrops potentially, and then the chain itself, 3 airdrops that you could catch from this ecosystem. If they haven't happened yet, at least one of them hasn't. Cool. Moving off of this one again, this website is DeFi Llama. Check it out. I've already kind of prepared things over here for us. This is Token Terminal. We actually do know how to use Token Terminal, BitBoy. another shot. Okay, seriously, don't sue me though. So I like to break this down by the 7-day range. You can expand this to whatever you want. And what I'm specifically looking at right now, from you can see up here on screen, is the revenue generated by these protocols. So what is the revenue generated by the protocol? Basically fees that come into the protocol via whatever manner. It could be on trades. It could be for whatever type of feature. I don't know, like learn about things. But whatever fees that they have for that platform, and however those add up and become the revenue here. So Ethereum has a lot of fees when you make transactions on Ethereum, and that adds up to $935 million of revenue over the last 182 days. So you can do it over that long period of time, which is great, especially when you want to see how quickly other protocols are catching up to some. So you look at like maybe the longer period first, say, okay, these are the best protocols over a short period of time and a longer period of time because they just have like the most. But then let's start to shorten that down. Let's see who starts to make their way into the list. Most recently, I've been pointing out Level Finance, but they had a little hack to their referral system, so not into the protocol itself. But then there's also been like some people being like, yo, we feel like there's like wash trading there. So Level's taken a hit. They're still up here in the top earning ones. I want to be transparent with that because I talk about them and I'm invested in them. But that's why I think as we look through some of these things, I don't know. I would imagine before they might have been like taken over and be like number 3 or something like that. But if they're down, that's probably why. So moving into the 90-day range, you got Stargate, CowSwap. I wanted to try to like look down here at this lower range and then also take notice of the top range. The top protocols as normal, Level, File, Statics, GMX, Slido, DYDX, Tron, Ethereum, and Level hasn't always been up there. A token that we'll get to it in a second because I noticed earlier that it was moving up. I want to see when it breaks in here though. Looking fairly similar. I'm not noticing very many changes in tokens down here. Stargate again down at the bottom here. Stargate has like a pretty huge market cap. I'm pretty sure. Like it's like a huge protocol. So and why I said that thing about the market cap is like if the market cap is large, then chances are you're not going to make as much money off of the token. Like when people like when demand comes to it or whatever, more money to be made on smaller market caps. It's just how it works. So looking at these ones here, yeah, the 7-day range is what I really found interesting. So Level Finance still hanging in there, and I'm surprised because I've been noticing their daily revenue going down a little bit, but it seems like GMX has went down too. So everybody else kind of struggled a little bit in their daily revenue going down as well. I was just only focusing on Levels. Ethereum, of course, always top dog. I'm not expecting that to change anytime soon, except for maybe my show and tell project. We're also showing off 2 different chains for our show and tell projects. We got Radiant down here, so to take notice, Radiant has been at the bottom here this entire time up, as well as Stargate. So I would probably think about that and go, okay, how much do they have in the 7-day? 212, and then I would look at like the 30-day and see how much of an increase it's been. And if it's 5 times though, so it's about their weekly, so that's about accurate. And then like have they survived in the 9-day, and I check it out like that and see how quickly they're starting to catch up to the protocols, and that's how you can get an idea of like what money flowing into something. One thing I want to point out, it hasn't been in any of these other ones, but I mentioned it during the stream like now a few weeks ago, and I mentioned it on Twitter, on the Trustless Degens Twitter. I said, yo, don't call it a comeback when it happens. We've been talking about it. Mux, the Mux protocol down here at the very bottom. Hey, we called out Level when it was all the way down here. Level was down here when it first came in the thing, and I was like, yo, this thing been in here. What's up? I called out Mux now some months ago, but we started talking about it a little bit more, and I looked into the like actual tokenomics and stuff more. It's just using out of utility at first, and then the things that you actually use and gravitate toward, maybe you should actually invest in. So that's how you treat stocks in general. Do you use the iPhone? Do you use Levi jeans, etc.? Coca-Cola? Invest in it. So Mux over here, I actually use it, and I which is like I might move my Level back over to the Mux, honestly, because when we looked at the token before, the token was looking pretty sexy. So she's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm keeping it separate for now.
Let me know. I might
keep it separate for now
too.
But Mux has been looking so sexy, and look at it, up 11% today.
Is Mux, so what chains is Mux on?
Pretty much a bunch of chains. It's Binance, Arbitrum, and I think just Binance, Arbitrum, and Ethereum.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't mind messing with some Mux. I'll be seeing them the screenshots you be sending over there.
Oh, the trades, the Muxies.
What
It's a nice ecosystem because it's an aggregator. It's like a 1 inch
what tokens can you?
perp dex.
Oh, so
It's a 1 inch perp dex. So
what?
like anything that you can get on GMX, anything that you can
Okay.
get on GNS, and on all the other perp dexes and stuff like that, like it's an aggregator. So you can do whatever on those. You can
Perp
do it on
aggregator.
Mux.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so that also means that's the other fun thing about Mux is because it's a perp aggregator. That also means that like when you enter the trade, this is something people probably don't think about a lot. But when you enter a trade on a DEX or like in this case a perpetual DEX, so we're talking about using leverage. So instead of just having $100, you could say 10x leverage. Now I have $1,000 that I'm entering the trade with. But when you increase your leverage, you increase your fees, and so fees increase, and then there's slippage when you like trade higher amounts of money. You get more slippage, and like it's a larger amount of money with 1% slippage is a lot of money versus a smaller amount of money. It becomes a lot of money. So you want to make sure that you incur as little slippage as possible. So having something like an aggregator for a perp dex that finds the best fees out there and the best price for things and gives you the best price across the board regardless means that you're getting into your trade with the lowest possible fees. So it's a small thing to maybe care about, but if you're like also trading like more money or you want to increase that leverage amount and you're like, oh, I like to go 50x or 100x or something like that, maybe you want to look at Mux because you're going to have less slippage in general from the product. That's just like it's just built to give you less slippage. So something that I feel like they don't really sell on too often, but that's like a thing. I'm like, this is how aggregators work.
I tried Level for like one trade. I will say just to try it out quickly, and I think I told you the only thing that I didn't like was that there weren't many trade pairs. Like I can't I couldn't really gamble on something super risky. So, but
sometimes you don't have to.
But yeah, no, for real, straight up, you really don't have to. If you know how to leverage trade, or if you're interested in learning, then you don't. Just because you can't trade something risky doesn't mean you shouldn't use Level. But it worked pretty smoothly. Like it was surprised me how it was like Binance when I used to try to leverage trade on Binance and got margin called and liquidated and shit. And it was almost just as smooth as using something like that.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's exactly what you'd want from like a perp dex, and it's the best option on Binance Smart Chain, regardless of whatever else is happening. And when people are calling out leverage trading or whatever on it, I'm like, it could just, or not leverage trading, wash trading, where they're like, oh, it's just like a few, and what they're saying is there's only a few accounts that were trading like large amounts of money, that whatever the heck. And I'm like, it could just be a few, honestly. Sometimes it's just a few whales. It could be like a market maker type situation. Could be Binance themselves because they wanted to support DeFi and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, however the case, it's still like the best option over there on Binance, other than Mux. So Mux is on Binance Smart Chain, and Level's on Binance, so they're both over there.
Don't forget about Eldorado.
Level is currently only on Binance Smart Chain. However, it will be going multi-chain. They're talking about it in their governance in the Discord still there right now. So Level is going to be going multi-chain. And remember, the Level governance token only has a max supply of 1,000 tokens. So that $1,000 token is going to be going multi-chain as well, getting a new audience. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. Don't forget about Eldorado. I do see that a lot when I look up yields. You looking up like the highest yields available in DeFi and stuff like that. I feel like Eldorado, they come across my plate, and Satoshi giving it the yo, this is actually something legit. It's making me feel a little bit like, okay, let me give it another look, see, because they do be having those yields. That's where the yield looks like they have.
You need to look at stacks. There is some yield that you can get on Bitcoin. You should look it up. You should.
Let me see. I want to see. The highest they've been in the last 90 days is $16, and it's currently at like $13, almost $14. So this is like, it's giving you like the best buying option was $12 on MCB. Is there a token for Mux actually? Their whole ecosystem, you like earn Mux from something else, and then it's like MCV or whatever the heck. But MCB is the token that you can actually trade, like it's like liquid, and I believe you stake it too. It's like the actual token that you want in the system. Everything equals. Eventually, you can vest out over the course of a year and get like one MCB token. So you want MCB, you can either buy it or you can do this long process. And that's the last thing that I was going to say about Level 2 is that I really like Level's loyalty system on the trades. Where I mean, with the amount that I trade, like when I've used Level, like the loyalty points more than cover my fees for the entry. Like, yo, you paid for my fees, like my little trading fees and stuff like that. Like they give you like a few bucks. It's like a few bucks if you spend like a few $100, like get a few bucks. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. So that was really nice with Level as well. And again, that referral system was what got hacked though.
That's what I was
So
say.
they patched it up.
You
but
bullish on them exploits though?
no, exploit, dude.
No, I think that it created a pretty good opportunity for people to scoop up some Level. I took the opportunity to pick some up, not very much at all, but pick some up. I should probably pick up some more because I think it's still looking pretty interesting on the price. Last I seen it was around $4. So
480 or so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, and I want to increase my MCB bag though. I have like a decent, like a little bag of Level, where if Level hits like, I always think about what if it hits like the $100 mark. I'm like, okay, I'll make like a decent chunk of change. I want that same thing for MCB, and it's that much more expensive. But I do think this token could get up to around like GMX, like level pricing. The way that they're aggregating across all these decks, they continue to add them and stuff. It's the best experience that I've had from perp decks in DeFi. So like other than like the Levels like loyalty system, that's like the best loyalty system that I've experienced for a perp decks. But and I like their governance token too. Things about Level, but it's Level and Mux for me. So accumulating both.
Something similar to that is on a sync swap. When you do your trades on there, they give you a refund on some of the gas fee. So I think that's pretty cool. Kind of like what you were saying. With Level giving you some loyalty.
See, yeah, it's important to pay attention to those things. BuySwap also did that, or does that on Binance Smart Chain. It's like a DEX that gives you some of their token and stuff. But yeah, their rewards are heavy on Level. Like I remember getting the reward. I was like, "Yo, how much did you give me for that? What for? I won the trade." Like, I'm like, I made money and you just gave me even more. Like that's like a decent chunk too.
They said we need you to come back with that, man. We need you to bring that win back.
For real, yeah, bring that back to the house. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let's move on into showing tell hour. So Satoshi, I'm not sure if you want to go first. I believe you had like some BRC 20 things to share.
I went down the BRC 20 rabbit hole. I went down the Bitcoin rabbit hole this last couple of weeks, and it's been fun and scary and slow.
Has it been expensive?
And cheap. Depends on. So it depends. So the move. So Bitcoin was looking shaky. So I was doing my research and I was getting ready to kind of like maybe get some ordinals on Bitcoin, and then the gas fee spiked hard there. So it was like a couple Fridays ago, the total market cap of all the BRCs. Let me share my screen real quick. The
share that
total
screen.
Market cap of all the BRCs was like a few. Okay, well, it was like 100 million. My bad.
Oh yeah, just the increase. Yeah, but show that.
So,
and I listed some things in the Discord. Those might be the links that you share, anyways. No, we don't have this.
This is Ord Space, and it shows like it's like a CoinGecko for BRC 20s. So the market cap, the supply of them, which a lot of the ones I've seen, the supply is like 21 million. And then so I think so the Wednesday of the last podcast that we had, I want to say the market cap of these BRC 20s was 100 million. By Monday, it was 1 billion. And then a couple days after that, it was like 1.5 billion. That's when it kind of topped out. And things started crashing and coming back down. So now it's at $468 million. So I feel like, this is the time when you want to look and dig and see what's out there. There are a few utility BRCs, which is Ordi and VMPX. They're the ones that have kind of utilities. I'm not exactly sure about VMPX, so I think Ordi wants to make like a marketplace for ordinals and for BRCs. So if you're looking for something that's going to kind of have a use case, and I would stick with these two for now. Then you got Pepe here. Pepe actually started. This Pepe was here before the Pepe on ERC. But this is an interesting one. Pizza is probably the first meme on Bitcoin. That's what I think of the first meme on Bitcoin. Pizza.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's funny. You get it. Bitcoin. Bitcoin. You get it.
OG, I'm not sure. I think meme was one of the first. I think meme might have been the first ordinal on. It might have been the first BRC20. And then there are a lot of these down here. Oshi is another one that was supposed to have an interesting utility as well. There was one that I liked. So they got this one up here now. This is the one that got airdropped on B20. Shint. But we'll get to that here in a second. There was one called Gold that I arrow here. This Gold that I liked. Total crap coin. There's 24,000 of them. The market cap I think is around 700K. And it's useless. There's not anything going on with it, I don't think. And the list goes on. And so it's just like it's weird how the difference between the BRC20s and ERC20s. So the main differences to me is that BRC20s don't use smart contracts at all. So that means that when you make it, it has a supply. That's going to be the supply. There is no minting. So you're not going to be. It's not inflationary. That's 21 million is going to be the supply, or Pepe has 42 million. So that's going to be the supply. Not like Doge or like SHIB where the price is always increasing. Or sorry, the supply is always increasing. These supplies will either be the same or possibly. I don't even know if you can burn tokens yet. I'm not sure. And so to buy a BRC, it was a process because Bitcoin's slow. So sometimes you could put place your transaction, and it could be a few hours before it goes through. And then when the price of the transaction spiked, they went up to I see them as high as $40 on Bitcoin, $40 for a gas fee. And at that point, you're at the mercy of Bitcoin. It's even slower than Ethereum is, and so you're having to wait, for the price to come back down to catch your gas, unless you're a Chad and you just push it through.
The Chad.
And so that was very interesting. So I kind of was like, man, I'm gonna wait and see. I don't like waiting that long for transactions, especially and then you don't know if your transactions even gotta go through. You're like, fuck, the gas might just stay high, But so then I started looking into stacks. Let me get over to stacks real quick. And stacks is a layer 2. For Bitcoin, kind of like your polygons or your arbitrums or your optimism. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, man, I need to learn how to manage this screen share a little better. But let me switch the screen share over to stacks over here on. Oh wait, I can just do the window. Here we go. Hang on, my bad. That'll be better. Okay. Learning on the fly. Smurf doesn't let me drive often, y'all. He makes me sit in the bitch seat all the time. He don't let me drive. So stacks is interesting because it's a layer 2, but so the way I understand it is that it has to wait, it has to wait for the Bitcoin blocks to confirm before it can confirm its transactions. The block that it's on has to confirm, and I think it gets some type of sourcing from the actual Bitcoin blockchain. So it waits for those blocks to confirm before it confirms. So it's, to be honest, it's kind of just as slow as Bitcoin. It's just as slow, but the transactions are way cheaper. They're pennies essentially, 14, 15 cents. For some things I've noticed you can increase your gas fee and it'll get you there. It'll get you there a lot faster. So anyway, I was looking on Stacks and there was this token called Alex, and Alex is the only, I think it's the only, it's like the only, it's a DEX on the layer 2 Stacks, and there's a couple tokens. I bought this token called Alex because it's a DEX, but they use Stacks as their native asset. So you need Stacks to as your gas token to pay for anything. And if anyone's used Uniswap, I mean, this is basically the same UI kind of. So that kind of made me feel more comfortable. So I put in some transactions for some Alex, and yeah, it took a while for it to arrive, but it was cheap, so that was great. So the barrier to entry is low over here, and then they have your synthetic USD, they have wrapped Bitcoin over here, they have USDC, Miami coin. Looks like New York has a coin. Miami coin is pretty interesting. We should look into that one at some point.
I mean, I'm familiar with it.
Okay, cool. So I've not seen many of the updates for it, but I think it's interesting that Miami has a fucking token in there. They're doing interesting things with it. I think you can pay your taxes with it, and they pay people with it somehow. I'm not sure, but that was interesting. So then last week, so I'm watching this YouTuber that I like a lot. His name is Francis Dune. And it's Francis Dune Uncensored on YouTube, and he was explaining to me how to buy ordinals and how to buy BRCs. So to buy them, it's not too hard. You have to get your wallet set up, and the wallet that I recommend is this Hyro wallet, and it's a Chrome extension, just like MetaMask or like Phantom wallet. You just download it you have an extension up here that you use to interact with your dApps like Alex and even Unisat, which is where it's like the first BRC20 marketplace that Francis was telling me about. So they also have or ordinals. They have these other things, these things called inscriptions, which I'm not sure if they're ordinals or not, but the way I think of inscriptions is you're inscribing metadata onto a Satoshi. So instead of like Ethereum, where you have a JPEG on the blockchain basically. With Bitcoin, you're actually putting these pictures on an actual Satoshi, and and then you have to. There's a process to actually selling them as inscription. So you have to do some fuckery, some witchcraft, some rocket science to basically you have to inscribe your ordinal with this fucking shit. This is where I was like, I'm gonna have to wait on that one. But anyway, luckily, Alex decided to be a Chad, and they decided to make this beautiful BRC20 order book. I know, Smurf, you're probably familiar with Tron Trade. Yeah. You ever use Tron Trade? That Tron Trade was wild, and it was fun. But this is an order book type of exchange, kind of like your Binance's, kind of your centralized exchanges where you can make limit orders and market orders, and you can get your ordinals, not ordinals. You can get your BRC20s. Now this is really wonky. It's really early, really wonky right now. So if you're brave and you want to try it out, cool. But do know that I haven't seen anyone lose money, but like balances aren't being displayed correctly, transfers aren't being displayed correctly, bridging's taking a long time. Withdrawals are weird right now. So just know that you are extremely early to something like this. But I've made a few trades, done a few orders and stuff. It's kind of just like your casual DeFi deck stuff that's going on Ethereum, but on Bitcoin. Very slow, very cheap. They actually did an airdrop for these tokens down here. Wait, there's a better view up here. Hang on. They did an airdrop for these 5 tokens. What you had to do was you had to either get USDT on Binance Smart Chain and bridge it to Stacks, which gave you synthetic USDT, and then you would deposit your USDT into the order book, and depending on how much you deposited, proportionate to how much everyone else deposited, you got an airdrop for that. I put in about almost $700, and just this one airdrop I got of these BRC or these B20 tokens, I think it's worth probably like $400-$300 right now, and it is super bottomed. The chart, you can see it got wrecked absolutely. But if you would have like bought the bottom over here around like $1, it was like $1.13 or something, you're up a good almost 7x. But like I had a limit order for I had a limit order back here. Like I put a limit order for like 377 just to see what would happen here. Let's see if I have my limit order, my open order right here, and it wicked. As you can see, it wicked down here to about $1 something, but my limit order did not. It didn't get picked up. That's what I mean by it being wonky. Like it's not.
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen by Dexys.
So maybe in a week or two, I'd say come back and it'll be working better. I think. I mean, everything worked I'd say pretty smoothly for me. The only thing that was kind of wonky for me was when I bridged over from Binance Smart Chain. It took like 8 hours for me to see it. In my, for it to confirm, I think. But that's it's different because you're bridging. You don't get to choose your gas fee when you bridge necessarily. You don't get to choose your gas fee on Stacks. But fortunately for me, it all worked out and went through, and I got an airdrop, so that makes me happy, and I feel like other people could get airdrops too. So
100, yeah. So Alex, the SAT site, Unisat, I believe it was.
Unisat,
yeah. We also shared. Ordinals also shared some links in the Money Match Gaming Discord for some potential airdrops with I think it was like Trustless Computer. So they have their whole own like they're using their, I think it's like one of their own tokens, one of their own BRC20s is being used for like an L2 type of situation. So there's that. Lots happening in that space. I want to do a really quick run through of the last show and tell. I'm gonna be super fast with this one because I want to wrap this up for you guys. Let me see if this is the right tweet that I want to start on. Yes, I believe. So this is for everybody in the crypto space that doesn't know. A new blockchain has launched known as PulseX. So we got BRC20s and Bitcoin, all that happening. There's also Pulse Chain. Excuse me, that's the correct name. I said PulseX. But Pulse Chain recently launched. And so this tweet from Richard Hart says, Pulse Chain is so popular that in 24 hours, it's done 150,000 transactions on one DEX. PulseX, the DEX of Pulse Chain. While Ethereum has done 300,000 transactions across all its DEXs. 27 million bridged and waiting to come out the other side. So $27 million is bridged and waiting to come over to PulseX. And what's it going to do? At least some of that is going to buy up the chain's token. You need the Pulse Chain token for gas. And so currently with the bridge hasn't been active. And so he probably explains this actually if I read the rest of this, but like since the bridge hasn't been active, you got all this money on the outside. The only people that are active are people that have been in the community. So he says, yeah, here's the funny part. Basically, the only people that have enough gas to transact are people that are sacrificed 2 years ago. So nearly none of this is new users. That 150,000 transactions came from old users. Nobody new or nobody that's been in cryptocurrency over the last year is transacting. So that's a lot of people in DeFi and stuff like that came like, but none of them are able to get over there. You had to do some type of over-the-counter deal if you're somehow over on Pulse Chain right now. And you didn't do part of the sacrifice. So at least to do transactions. Because here's the other kicker. Even if you had an Ethereum wallet at all, so L1 wallet, you actually got money that you can probably get on Pulse Chain right now. So you just need a little bit of gas so that you can sell the tokens they gave you. Because what Pulse Chain did, for anybody who's not familiar, is this what Richard Hart was calling one of the largest crypto airdrops in history for a long time, to be determined on the actual value of the tokens that you have on this other chain. But what it did is it copied every token in your wallet and gave you a replica of that token on Pulse Chain. So if you made the sacrifice, you got Pulse Chain token, the Ethereum gas token, and you got Pulse X tokens, the first DEX. But then you also got all of your other Ethereum L1 tokens. So if you had Ethereum on L1, then you got Ethereum on Pulse Chain and USDC on, and even the more minuscule tokens, whatever random tokens that you had before for meme tokens, all of those are transported over to Pulse Chain as well. So big airdrop in that sense. And so if any of those have any amount of value, then you can sell that off. Like who knows how much, if it keeps the same actual value, or if there needs to be like a Pulse Chain version of that, like a P USDC, and that would be like the actual value one when USDC came over for 1-to-1 value. I don't know. It's so early, and I've been looking at this thing since all the price values have even loaded in. So that's to be determined, but the chances are they have some type of value. You can probably sell it for something as long as there's liquidity provided, right? So to check out there, pretty sure that's all he says. Basically, the world is watching and wanting to participate, and they'll be waiting on the bridge when the Pulse X search farm. Okay, and the other cool thing about Pulse X, the DEX itself, the people got this airdrop up for the tokens, is that it's like all the tokens that are ever going to be minted for Pulse X were minted. So it's the same thing, kind of like a Pepe situation. But with all these transactions, these 150,000 transactions in the last 24 hours, Pulse X burns. So Pulse X is actually burning, though, unlike Pepe is all the time. So Pulse X has already been transacted. Everybody already has Pulse X, and then it's burning. And so the supply is getting less and less and less before you get it's like already to like the level of like Ethereum, half of Ethereum before you even get a lot of other people over here, just some people that are like in the Hex community and stuff. So it's kind of a bullish token for a DEX token. And this is before DeFi and everything even gets started over here on this new chain, which a lot of early people like BitBoys, the Carl from the Moons, the Da Vinci J15s, MM Crypto, all these people are in Pulse Chain, Crypto Face and stuff like that. They've all mentioned it. Like they're all in Pulse. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. So it's to determine like how much. Who knows how much people put into that stuff? But like, yeah, it seemed like a lot of people actually know about it or like did something to get into Pulse Chain. More and more Pulse Chain validators are coming on board. 420 in queue. So Pulse Chain validators are taking off. The blockchain's starting to come alive. When we look at this again, this wasn't loading before, but now you can see like a value on the Pulse X token. Again, given away for free, so that's just going to continue to go up as things start to ramp up for Pulse X. But yeah, you could take, for instance, like most people got at least $30, at least 1,000 or 1 million like Pulse X tokens or whatever on the low end. So yeah, this whole blockchain something to pay attention to. Everybody's talking about ZK Sync and stuff like that, but I believe if you look at Dex Screener, you'll see Pulse X stuff too. And I believe their farms also started to load in. Yeah, they started to put their farms in here, 45% APR or whatever the heck. Yeah, some crazy APRs there. 2 million liquidity. I don't think these are working yet, but I don't know. I've been away for a few days too, so need to go back in here and check all this out because nice APRs. All right, and that's to do with Pulse Chain. Yeah, go to pulsechain.com if you're interested in this and you haven't done anything, and then you can get the RPC for it, chain ID, ticker, all that type of stuff. Yeah, and this also means now there's 2 different versions of Hex. So when we saw the crypto bubbles before, and it said like Hex has dropped like whatever percent in the last week, this is pretty much why people are speculating like the value of Hex on Ethereum is like eHex. And this is like the actual Hex is going to be like on Pulse Chain. They're like saying, so they're like, oh, there's going to be like multiple values to Hex. And so, because you're going to be able to interact with Hex on Pulse Chain and do all your Hex stuff. So, because like everybody got their addresses copied over, so that was like another reason for Pulse Chain. So this big community is migrating to this other chain. And how big is the Hex community? This is like our like closing things and stuff. Anyways, before we go over thoughts, how big is the Hex community? Let's check out the DeFi overview of all these people that got ported over to this new blockchain. In case you're thinking about fading this. Am I looking at chains? What am I looking at right now?
I'm a professional Pulse fader, bro. I've been fading Pulse since before it was cool.
For fighting Pulse since before it was cool. Oh, you know, you do what you gotta do. You gotta do. I'm like, wonder if I can search it this way. If I want to just do like straight up Ethereum, since that's what it's on.
It's number 100,445.
100,000. 100,000. I don't think so. I'm not even listening to that number. Anyways, I'm gonna put this list on straight up ETH. Let's see. What does it come across? I'm surprised. I feel like I normally would have seen it by now.
What are you looking for? Pulse or Hex?
No, Hex. So I'm like, where is it being hidden?
Not just type it.
I mean, yeah, I can type it, but I was like,
thought it was gonna be easy, huh?
Yeah, it's supposed to be easy, but they'd be like gating it. Like honestly, different places gate Hex. Like you go to CoinGecko, they don't show the appropriate information.
They do be gating Hex, though. I ain't gonna lie. For a long time, they have been.
So I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is why. So total value locked 0 over here. All right, we're not gonna get the info. I'm like, I feel like normally I would have scrolled and it would have been like number 3 or 4.
Bruh, they said $8
up here.
They said $8.
And so I'm like, yo,
TVL.
I'm like, so something happened with how it's like tracking it or something. That's why I'm not seeing it.
That's a meme, bro.
Okay.
You should screenshot that for sure.
No, my God, Hex community, love it. But yeah, usually Hex is like it's somewhere up here. That's why I was like, what the hell? Why am I at the search so far?
I'm putting that in my notes.
Yeah, all sorts of things. Yeah,
it has an $8 TVL.
Hex $8 TVL.
Oh my God.
Mark that. You can be a market maker. Don't forget. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not gonna find it because of whatever is happening with the Pulse chain thing. I'm sure that's what it is. Like them, like you have to work and feed the right information. Man, that really hurts. That hurts because I wanted to show how big it is, but I don't know. I guess go back to other episodes of Trustless Degens where we cover this because we cover DeFi Llama in like every episode. You'll see Hex toward the top. It's like top 10. That's why I wanted to like show it. Like it's like up here. It's like I don't know. Like it's like a big deal in crypto. But it's often gated because people don't like it and the way that it's comes about. I'm like, I get it. You know, it's like whatever. You're like, oh, it's like a shit coin, but I'm like, it's just controlled inflation. It's better controlled inflation, which a lot of other DeFi protocols do the same thing. Like Curve does controlled inflation. I'm pretty sure Uniswap is controlled inflation. Like people want to hate on it, but I'm like, it's whatever, man. The same thing other people are doing. You just don't like it. So whatever, like, you know, like, oh, it doesn't have the deck stuff. Like, cool, but it's the same rewards that you're accepting. No, right? It is. All right, that's it for me. I'm gonna ask my buddy here, Satoshi, how you feeling about the markets today, and what you know after we covered all this stuff.
I feel like the market is a lot more fun when you're playing around with risky protocols than when you're trying new things and researching stuff. So that's what I would do. Now's the time to figure out where you want to be at in a year or so. So take the time to research what you can and buy the blood.
Buy the blood. Say buy the blood. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Buy blood. Okay. Yeah. For shizzle. My final thoughts on the night. Yeah, I definitely agree with Satoshi. It's more fun to be. I just feel like this is an interesting time in the market, specifically cryptocurrency, where I almost wrote this in like the title, like where I was like, DeFi is definitely alive. You got this whole new revolution thing starting on Bitcoin, which one of these ordinals or BRC 20s, one of these things is going to make some millionaires. Like it happens on every chain pretty much.
They already have, honestly.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's just like, you just know there's opportunity, and you know that playing around with these things early means that you're going to get some airdrops and and you're going to be privy to all the other airdrops and stuff happening in the Bitcoin community, because there's going to be a bunch of them. There's no way. It's just like, that's just how it works out. It's just how it works, man. It has to happen pretty much. It's like ordained now. It's preordained. So that's going to happen. So there's like money for that. Like we talked about the ZK Sync airdrops. If you're playing around with things over there, so there's ZK Sync airdrops. We were just talking about Post Chain. So Post Chain launched. You can get over there, like do over counter the deal. So I don't know, but like in general, interacting with Post Chain is probably going to have some airdrops to do with it too. Like people already got the Post X airdrop from. You got the Post Chain from Sacrifice, and you got Post X airdrop, which is what that technically is. And now, what are the chances that that's the last airdrop that you get on that chain? Well, all these other chains have had more than one. Like chances are some other airdrops over there. So you're early to the party on that too. And again, Pulse X is deflationary. So it's just a really bullish time. It feels bullish. It feels like we said, it's wavering. It's really frothy. A lot of volatility in the market right now. Things are going up and down, and it's trying to like shake people out. You don't know what's going to happen. But at the same time, if you're in DeFi or if you're like really into crypto, I feel like there's just so much opportunity that, as Satoshi is saying, you can really set yourself up. So like, where do you want to be a year from now, though? If you're investing that time and a little bit of money now, and a year from now, like that could be 10x on like 10x on $100 is 10,000, 1,000, excuse me. Like other than I don't know. Maybe you're just like, I don't know. But I feel like it's worth the investment in time because that's the chances that's the only thing that you learn is pretty slim. If you like learning things, it's a place to be. But yeah, that's it for this week. Yeah, anything else as we wrap this up? So you close this out?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. All right, thank you guys for joining us. It's been another episode of Trustless Degens. We do this every Wednesday, and we talk about pretty much everything in crypto. Pretty much insert buzzword here. But yeah, that's it from your boy Smurf, BRC 20 Maxi Satoshi. We out.